Hey, this is Arthur Adams, and you are listening to Top 5 Comics Podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome to Top 5 Comics Podcast, people talking about comics, pop culture, and events. With us today, we have the janitary head of the Avengers West Coast Division, Craig.
Kid threw up in the back lot. I'm going to need more sawdust for this.
Also with us today, we have the janitary super enforcer for the Great Lakes Avengers, CBS.
The only thing good about this job is the cute squirrel girl. The rest of it can burn.
Also with us today, we have janitary master for the Avengers, Rob. I'm just glad that Beast isn't on the team anymore. Hair clogs. We're out of control.
Disgusting.
Yes. Yeah. They were in places you didn't expect. Sink, toilet, shower, didn't matter.
You heard it here first.
If there was water, it had hair clog in it.
Rob hates muties.
Oh, no.
Blue hair in it.
Especially Beast Moody's.
It could have been somebody else, but I'm pretty sure he's the only one with blue hair.
Janitors assemble!
Janitors assemble!
There you go. Well, most underpaid position probably in the Avengers. But that's alright. You know.
It's not as glamorous as you think.
Well, we do know a lot of the secrets. Granted, it's the gross secrets.
Yeah.
Welcome to Top 5 Comics Podcast. Today we're going to be doing episode number 113. That's half an unlucky number. Oh, yeah. And so today we're going to be doing a little different format. I guess we're going to go movies again. I mean, we've had a few, actually a slew of movies come out this whole last month that are comic-oriented, pop culture-y. So, I mean, not comic book talk today, I guess. We'll probably talk about that too. But anyway, today we're going to be going over the Avengers Infinity War movie. It's not part 1 anymore. They changed that, right? So just Infinity War.
Yeah, I think they're doing a different title.
They are, but they haven't announced it.
Part 1 after it got released.
No. Yeah, they originally called it Avengers Infinity War Part 1, and apparently they decided to just drop it to Infinity War, and then the Part 2 they have not announced the name, because apparently the name is spoilery.
Yeah,
the way I understand it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, what I had understood originally was that they wanted to make sure that the two films stood on their own, so they didn't want to do a Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's alright.
Yeah, they didn't want to, pull any Twilight stuff, where it's just obviously cut in half.
Or Harry Potter stuff.
Yes.
Take that, Harry Potter.
I mean, Harry Potter just followed the natural progression of shiny vampires.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not a good trend. It wasn't a good trend when it happened.
That's true. Let's see. So do we have any news today, Rob? Comic book news?
We have a little bit.
Okay.
So there's going to be a book called X Classified.
Well, that's what it's titled in the catalogs to order. I don't think that's actually the name of the book, is it?
At this point, it's still classified, along with the artist and the writer and all sorts of stuff.
So title-wise, everything's still classified on it, so we don't know if that's actually even the real title, right?
Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure that all they're saying is, in June we'll know what's what.
So last time they did this, when they were trying to sell us a trade, there was a bunch of reprint Captain America stuff. That was a full, $20 book. Oh, you'll have to have this to understand the next batch of Captain America stuff. And we did get one at the store, just for the nuance of it. And, it was a bunch of reprints, and then issue 1 and 2 again. So, yeah, I guess if you'd never read Captain America before, you might have needed it. If you didn't know he was frozen ice, you didn't know there was anything happening, then, it was necessary. Now, granted, they haven't touted this as being the next groundbreaking thing, but, Anyway, and that led to what did we learn today, Rob?
Well, we did know that there was going to be a variant cover and a Virgin variant cover, and those were both going to be done by J. Scott Campbell. At this point, they are canceled, and they did not release a reason, and that they're not going to be resolicited.
So, I think there's actually 3 J. Scott Campbells. There's a normal one, and then there's whatever the other one was, and then the Virgin one. So they might still be doing one.
Yeah, the B cover and the Virgin cover are the 2 that are canceled for sure.
Right, so that makes me think that they were under-ordered so heavily that they just canceled them. I mean, Campbell's connected with one of those sites that does his own covers for stuff, so we've been getting J. Campbell variant covers for all kinds of things. Granted, they're things you can only get through his website at $20 to $25 a book. So he gets 2,000 copies made and turns around and sells them at $20 a pop, and then sends you slews of emails about him if you ever got an email from him before, which unfortunately one time I did. So I get lots of emails. Don't get me wrong, they're good pictures, but $20 variant cover, dude, just because you decide to do it yourself? Yeah, I don't know about that. $25 because you want the signature? Yeah, I'm good. That's me, though. Everybody else do whatever you like. Frank Cho does it too, and I say the same thing. I love Frank, but no, I'm good. Anyway, was there more to that, Rob, or did I just go on a tirade?
And that was pretty much it for that.
Okay. I felt like there was something else. Like, we know that they're going to be aiming the Hulk at the Alpha Flight Squad for some reason. As far as why, don't know yet.
Well, somebody's got to make them popular, right?
Well, they're using the title line, at least, with the whole space station. So we have the Alpha Flight space satellite thing, which Captain Marvel has been hanging out at during her space weirdness. But, yeah, I guess it's true. They haven't really been in the limelight for a minute.
Yeah, just in the Captain Marvel book.
Well, that in the new Avengers book, but it's the same thing, though. We don't really see any of the characters. It's a name drop. So for all we know, it's just the bases name that, and there's none of them in it.
Well, in the Captain Marvel stuff, we had a lot of the people that we knew from old Alpha Flight.
In the Captain Marvel... Oh, I was talking about the Avengers, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
There is actually another piece of news, I guess, for Marvel, which is we might be saying goodbye to Guardians of the Galaxy as a title, because coming out of Infinity Countdown, it looks like we're going to have Infinity Watch start up again. And it looks like it's going to pick up the Guardians team.
Huh, interesting. Well, we know we're getting Infinity Prime, which is the next section of the countdown. So it goes Countdown Prime, and then I guess after that is the end of it, I guess. So Watch must be running either during it or right after it, maybe?
Probably. It may end up starting right after Prime.
Disappointing. Here was the perfect opportunity to go with Ass Kickers of the Unknown.
And they didn't go with it.
They didn't take it.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Well, it's because it's Marvel. I think they
Marvel. Yeah, Marvel's still a little touchy about the ass.
I don't think that's how you're supposed to say that.
No?
Well, I mean, that's how you're supposed to do that, but it's not. I don't think you're supposed to say it that way.
Somebody's going to grab that.
Depends on what it is. That's not always true. I mean, we've got two different versions of Squirrel Girl. We have U.S. Avengers Squirrel Girl, and then we have Squirrel Girl, her own book, Squirrel Girl. Which I guess both are amply grabbable, but one you want to, and the other one you're like, I don't know about that.
Maybe they'll resurrect Marvel Black series, and they'll have Ass Kickers of the Unknown in that. Marvel Max.
Oh, you mean,
Marvel Max.
I was going to say Max. Okay.
And
Max, maybe?
DC Black series or something like that.
Well, there's Marvel Max, and then there was Marvel Knights, and Marvel Knights was a little more extreme, but it wasn't Max. But even Max was just for the sake of using swear words, so DC never really had one of those. They have Vertigo, but they never really had like an extreme version of DC. I mean, they did do a Just League Dark, but that's not nearly the same thing.
Yeah, I thought Vertigo was pretty extreme back in
No,
the day.
it was, for sure. Even the newer stuff is still extreme, but it's not that style level. It's more like there's a lot more death, and we deal with more messed up kind of stuff, I guess.
Right.
It's more like...
It wasn't like Die Hard, I mean, but it was more gritty than Superman or the mainstream titles.
I'd say Vertigo was like extreme with purpose, whereas Max was extreme because we can get away with it.
Right.
Right.
Sounds about right to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
And then there is a new title to kind of keep an eye on from Dynamite, which is going to be called The Switch. And I'm sure I'm saying this name wrong, so I'm sorry, but Keith Champion is going to be the creator. But basically, he was kind of looking at his own life and seeing how people have changed from his time when he knew them in school, and how people can just kind of evolve. And so he wanted to apply that to a kind of superhero world. So we're going to have a villain character that, has kind of grown up and changed over time and is now making the switch to being a hero. So, sounds like a neat idea. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that, I guess, as we get more information.
Sure. Sounds neat. Well, we know Joelle Jones is getting a Catwoman storyline. Like, she's getting her own Catwoman book, which that's awesome because she's amazing.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know who that is, you should Google her. If you've been reading Batman, then, well, you've been reading stuff that she's drawn. Like, all the Catwoman Talia al Ghul Batman stuff was drawn by her. And then the Catwoman dress issue is her. So if you're reading proper Batman, then you've already seen her art. So follow her over to her Catwoman because I think that'll be great. She's also a good writer, too. I mean, you can reference Lady Killer Volume 1 or 2. So, yeah, dig that chick a lot. She's awesome. Anyway, some news stuff. I don't know if there's anything else that's like concrete news stuff. I mean, we know there's going to be, well, I guess we finally got sort of a trailer for Deadly Class. It's on YouTube now, so you can Google it. It's like a trailer mixed in with director commentary kind of stuff. So it has like the two directors behind it, which are also the same guys who did The Avengers, which is interesting. Avengers Infinity War, excuse me. So the movie we're about to talk about. So it sort of connects. Sort of. At least for the first episode. And I don't know if that's going to stick that way or not, but the two of them talk about it for a minute. And we get some sequences from the show, and it's pretty action-oriented, which makes sense for the book. And we see at least half the cast, and most of them look awesome. So I would say Google it. I mean, it's another comic book turned to TV show. So I think that'll be great. So I guess that's sort of news. Sort of. Maybe. Kind of.
No, it's news. It's newsworthy.
Well, it's a thing. People talk about it. Well, we were talking about it. I was talking about it. There we go. Yeah, I think that's all I've got right now news-wise. I don't feel like there's anything else that was completely compelling or crazy. Craig, Rob, anything? No?
Not really.
All right.
I just know that in IDW, the Transformers verse is about to wrap up, and I think at the end of that, they're going to do a hard reboot and start all over from scratch.
That's what they made it sound like. Yeah, we're doing Unicron. And they did do a free comic book day preview book for Unicron issue 1. So that's already come out, but the regular series itself is starting as a miniseries, and I guess, yeah, like you were saying, they're going to reboot it after that, I guess. And it sounds like hard reboot, so I guess we'll see if that one's being the truth or not.
Yeah, it sounded like all the current artists and writers are not going to be part of it, so
yeah,
sounds pretty hard.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, considering it's been going so long, that is crazy. Yeah, I guess you're going to rock the boat. You might as well sink it? No? That's not a saying?
No, I don't think that's the same.
Should be.
This is probably also a chance for them to now separate the Hasbro universe.
I don't think they're aiming for that, though. Like, this whole intermingled universe, I think that's the direction they're heading. So maybe it's more solidified of that, because, like, Transformers up to this point has been separate. So is G.I. Joe, and then they did Revolution. Revolution merged things, but I don't feel like the regular standalone series has really dealt with the other sides at all. Yeah. Except for ROM. I mean, ROM and Micronauts, I guess, both of them did. But they were also both also brand new series coming into this whole mixed universe. So,
as far as that goes, it's pretty tight-lipped. Nobody really knows anything ahead of time. But I suspect that Hasbro on that end is going to be more involved rather than less involved, because it's been such a cash cow for them.
Right.
As far as comic goes. But I think they're going to get more involved, and there's going to be more executive meddling in the universe and whatever. So I expect that if the Hasbroverse is going to be a thing, it's going to be more mixing and whatnot than less. It's going to be more meddling.
I assume that's what they're going to aim for, because like I said, up until this point, I don't feel like the regular books have really been affected by it, other than the ones pre-mentioned. I mean, Action Man, of course, which was a short-lived title, but it wasn't built to be long, I don't think. Revolution itself was set up as a miniseries, so even it wasn't designed to be long. But I don't feel like any of the other storylines have really connected, really. I mean, save for the miniseries.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well, it'll be interesting to see where that goes and if it winds up turning into a thing. So that's interesting. We did see some new news from Valiant, and it's hard to say if it's really true or not, but we've seen pictures lately of a Vin Diesel looking Bloodshot, and it makes it sound like maybe the theatrical movies are not going to be connected to the Bat in the Sun YouTube stuff they've been doing. So, which I mean, it doesn't totally surprise me, just considering the amount of money flowing into Sony now from the whole combination of Spider-Man. So maybe that's where they're funneling it to. Which, I mean, if that's the case, Diesel can lead movies by himself, so I'd be alright with that. I mean, I always thought Jason David Franks would make a much better Ninjak anyway. I mean, the dude does ninja stuff his entire career, so now you're gonna try to make him a Swiss Army knife? I don't know about that. Well, maybe not a Swiss Army knife, like an army soldier guy, which, I mean, that can work too, whatever. I mean, the dude doing fight sequences is fine, so whatever. But I think Diesel's more of a, in my head, he screams more Punisher than me than David Franks does.
Well, and he's a little bit more marketable.
That's true.
I mean, as much as David Franks is that, he's still, if you see him and you recognize him, you don't recognize him as just an actor, you recognize him as...
He's a Power Ranger.
Power Ranger.
Yeah, he's like the Power Ranger dude. How does that work out? You're the guy hired to the cast last, and you want to be the one that's like the most important of all of them.
Well,
Everybody loves an anti-hero.
That's true.
I mean, you can go with that. You can go with that. He just had a lot of marketability. You can also go that he just didn't have anything else going on, and so he just stuck around.
You're acting like the other ones did.
They didn't stick around.
They didn't stick around.
That's true. They didn't stick around, but they didn't do anything either.
Well, I mean, they moved on. They did other things in their life, sort of.
Jason is an EMT.
It's true.
Well,
he is the only
him.
one that has fulfilled the promise of the Power Rangers.
Oh.
He actually goes out and helps people.
Is he the same one we all thought did porn?
No, that was a different guy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I hear he's kind of a jerk, actually. That's what I hear.
I don't know. The few of them that we've met.
A jerk that saves your life.
It's true.
It's true.
It's probably
Don't do
why.
stupid things, and he doesn't have to save your life.
That's a good point. There's any reason to be nice to you if you're not being stupid.
It's true.
I don't know. All of them that we've managed to meet over time, whether it be Ernie or whether it be Jason, David, Frank, Jason, or Kimberly, whose real name is, Jamie Jo Johnson. Amy Jo, yeah, Amy Jo. All been nice enough when we met them or dealt with them. And like, of that group, surprisingly, the one I've actually talked to the most is Jason David Frank, just because he did all those press junkets back in Colorado Springs. So like, there's multiple days in a row that there's pictures that he takes on so he takes a lot of cell phone pictures. He's very, very,
He likes his Instagram.
yes, he likes his Instagram, and he's very, maybe not internet, he's very social network savvy. Let's go with that.
Okay.
So dude takes a lot of selfies. So there's like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 of them from there that I'm like in the middle of the background because he's taking the selfie inside the press room with those of us that were there for the press junkets. And I'm like, I wonder if he's going to realize I'm in every one of these. And I thought he never looks at these. And even if he did, like, what difference does it make? Because it doesn't make any difference at all. Anyway, nice enough guy.
Well, I wasn't trying to be.
No.
It's
me
the
either.
Pauly Shore situation is what I'm getting.
No, I fully agree. You can't put Pauly Shore into a Western movie because you'll see him and say, oh, it's Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore.
You can't put him in a Knights in Armor movie because it doesn't matter how much armor he's in. If you see his face, he's Pauly Shore. Yeah. So the dude made himself a thing, and then that ruined him being a thing.
Yeah, I mean, he'd have to do uncredited masked roles to get out of that, and he just hasn't done that.
No, he hasn't. Anyhow, well, I think that's enough sort of news. I think, right? Maybe? No?
Yeah, it's more than we had.
We can move on.
All right. So let's move on to the Avengers Infinity War.
Just to let you know, there will be spoilers.
Yeah, that's what people are here for.
Well, that and for the colorful lights. Oh, they can't see those. That's just for the two of you.
They'll have to upgrade to the new Visionorama version of the podcast.
Get on that, folks.
Starting now.
There you go.
Upgrade to premium.
Hey, yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah,
There's a donation button right on the side of the page.
There you go.
That's where you do it.
You can make the dream
Thank
a reality.
you. Thank you, collapse of net neutrality.
Oh my God. All right. So, what do you want to open up with, Rob? I mean, who do you guys remember the name of the directors? It's the Russo brothers, I think. No, it is the Russo brothers.
It's a successful
they're
movie, so there's many fathers, right?
Well,
So,
that's not. There's been many directors before them, but this particular movie, they're the same dudes that did Winter Soldier. Oh, hang on, no, not Winter Soldier. Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did Winter Soldier and Civil War.
And Civil War. That's the one I was thinking of, but yeah, both.
Yeah. They've done very well so far in the Marvelverse, and they've snuck in a few of their own little cameos as well. Here's the good thing and the bad thing, right? If you're not an uber film fan, people only recognize your name for two reasons: either you're stellar or you're terrible, and that's it. Like as a director, most people don't. They just don't follow you.
yeah, well, that's how it works in Hollywood too.
Yeah.
You're only as good as your last film,
Well,
unless you're M. Night
or
Shyamalan.
as bad.
yeah.
And M. Night Shyamalan gets to survive that.
Somehow he rides the wave on both sides. It's crazy.
At least he's not bad. He's not a bad director.
He's not good either.
Yeah.
Go
That's debatable.
on. Go on.
But no, that's pretty much the end of that. I mean, at this point, like a lot of the films that people think of the flavor of Marvel have come from him, or from them, the brothers, which is kind of, I think, following on where Favreau's was at. I know that,
Well, he's still mixing it too. I think that's one of the good things is that Marvel, even though they do different directors, there's still a core group of folks that they run things through before they do things. So it's not like a room with like 8 guys that got hired this week to try to put this thing together and here's 2 scripts. It's like a bunch of people that worked on things up until this point, including folks that are like in the comic book scene of things too.
this is true.
So it's like a mix and match of like a cabal of people to make the decisions whether this is going to be okay or not. Are they always perfect? No. But at the same time, they do a pretty good job.
Right.
Well,
I think that's probably the reason why they're so good.
Yeah,
is that
agreed. Yeah.
They do, get run through, I don't know, a group of people that knows what they're doing and at least kind of likes their subject matter.
Well, I think it helps that we've got guys that have written the books and not just like 1 year worth of writing. We're talking like 3 or 4 years worth of writing that are on their team.
I mean, if I go to a Marvel movie, I know at worst it's going to be, an enjoyable movie.
True.
I may not go out of it going, that was the best movie I saw, but I will leave it going, I didn't regret spending $10 to see that movie.
Right.
And I know that the next one will probably be better or whatever.
No, totally agreed. Yeah. As a thing in general. I mean, like you were saying earlier, the Russo brothers, they put peppers of things from other shows they worked on.
yeah. Yeah, they've had quite a few things in there from some of their other films. So, Easter egg style. But I guess one thing before we go into any of that was just that, they do have a clear idea in Marvel where they want to go. Whether that's always right or not, like Craig had said, it's there. And, unfortunately we have to compare that to what Warner Bros. Is doing with DC.
No, we don't.
Well, I think you
Jokes,
kind of have
jokes.
to,
As a joke.
I was trying to ignore that 400-pound gorilla in the room, but
Gorilla Grodd is awesome.
Since it's brought up,
Well, the only point I want to make is just that, Justice League was Justice League, and instead of it being, no, don't worry, we have a goal, they went, that was Scott Snyder's. That was all him. Should have seen the film before the other guy came in. It was unwatchable. They just threw him under the bus. Whereas with Marvel, they may be too controlling, which is why we lost Edgar Wright, I guess, for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But at least they have this vision, and you're never going to just go, oh, well, Ultron wasn't great, so get out here under the bus. This was all his fault,
Right.
They don't seem to be doing that because they have a greater idea of where they're going. And it feels like that. It feels like they've done a good job of that. No series just is kind of like, let's just see if we can get away with this and throw it out there. So far, it seems like it's always building.
I've just always been impressed that they throw out titles that nobody would probably have heard of
You've done pretty good with them.
And done great with them.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're a comic book fan, I would guarantee you nobody would know about, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, absolutely not, huh?
So you'd go into it expecting a lesser movie, and it's one of the best ones in the series.
All right. Well, like Ant-Man, opening weekend didn't get the traction that other movies got, but by the second weekend, it already matched par with everything else. So, like, as a thing in general, like, it had the least amount of following, probably opening weekend-wise, and it caught back up with everybody else regardless. I mean, yeah, it didn't overpower Avengers by any means, but Avengers is Avengers, and
Right.
Ant-Man is only one part of that.
It's because Avengers would have the names of Marvel.
Right, well, yeah, character-wise.
10, 15 years ago or whatever, you could talk to the average person on the street, and they'd probably name you,
At least three of those, yeah.
6 DC heroes before they had named, one Marvel guy. And that Marvel guy might be Thor or might be, Captain America. But they'd be hard-pressed to name too many more of that. But now, Marvel is probably as big or bigger than any of the DC characters. And the DC characters are not doing so good in the movie theater.
Meh.
They got the big guns, but they don't know how to use them.
They haven't been terribly effective with them lately.
Right.
I mean, it created a new fan base. So now you have comic fans and comic movie fans, and that comic movie fan base can actually work. So,
yeah.
I guess the thing that the Russos have kind of slipped in. So if you're a fan of Community, that's where most of the Easter eggs have come from them. They're using a lot of the cast members and different characters, and I guess even like a random truck that was from the Community is actually in Civil War.
That's fine.
There's a guy that wanted to be a part of the Blue Man group that was a part of the Community show that had a point where he was all blue. He's in the Collector's Collection in Avengers Infinity War, so you have to watch in the background for him to pop up. But they've been sneaking in stuff like that from Community.
That's funny. Like, yeah.
So kind of as extra Easter egg stuff if you want to go back.
Well, when you watch it at home, whether you understand what it's from or not, at least you know it was from something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's neat. I think it's cool.
I think they've done a good job of it because, if you do recognize it, you do. If you don't, then it's not blatant.
Sure.
At least not so far.
Well, movie-wise, there's a lot that happens in Infinity War. So, do we want to try to go over things we liked, or we want to go over things that were wrong from the comic books, let's start out by. So first, Infinity War was based off a comic book called
The Infinity Gauntlet.
Correct. It's the closest adaptation thing-wise, and that's where most of the stuff draws from.
Ironically, not Infinity War.
No, that was the sequel.
Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the comic books...
Oh.
Right. That explains a lot, doesn't it?
Now it makes sense.
Yeah, if you read Infinity War, you're going to be like...
What? That didn't happen.
Based on... Huh?
What movie did I watch?
Who is this purple guy?
Right, exactly. And we're not talking about Thanos.
Oh.
It's a totally different purple guy.
Oh, we're talking about Magi?
David Tennant?
Magi?
Megas.
There's
I
so
always had
many
a hard
purple
time with
guys
him.
in the Marvel universe now.
Only two that matter. Only two that matter. For this particular story, Megas is the one we're talking about. So in the comic books, it goes Infinity Gauntlet. The sequel was Infinity War. And then what's the third one called?
Is it Infinity Crusade?
Well, that's the name of it. What do you call that? There's the original, sequel, and trequel?
The trilogy?
Trilogy.
Trilogy?
Trilogy, that's what the word I was looking for.
Yeah, this will
The
be
trilogy book.
Triforce.
That is something different.
This is before prequels was, a thing.
Right. So the third part for Infinity Gauntlet is Infinity Crusade. And I doubt we'll get pieces from that. I mean, we already kind of have the main character from that, the goddess character. We kind of have her in the movies already. Because she's the golden lady from the Planet of Gold people. The one that's making Adam Warlock, according to the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians 2, yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're still listening and you're like, man, these guys are talking about crap I don't want to hear, this is all going to be spoiler stuff, guys. So It's, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was in the title, right?
Kind of, but you know, it's one of those things.
Episode 113, Infinity War. We're going to talk about Infinity War.
I did say that, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're good then.
Things might be spoiled.
We're good then. All across the universe. So if you haven't seen other movies too, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, if you haven't seen some of the other Marvel movies, they're going to get spoiled too. I mean, okay, that's how it is.
It might ruin.
And if you haven't seen some of those other movies, why are you listening to this podcast?
That's probably true. Well, you should anyway, or at least fast forward to the end. Now,
Yeah.
subscribe. Just subscribe.
Just subscribe and leave a comment. Go, I haven't watched any of the Marvel movies yet. I'm going to come back and do it and just let it play.
I'm listening to
That's
this
fine.
podcast so I don't have to watch the movies.
Well, it might ruin other movies for you too. I mean, The Truman Show, the guy's living in a TV show, so.
Oh my God.
I know.
hadn't seen that
I know.
one yet.
You didn't see it coming, did you? That's how I like to throw the punches. Like, you don't see it coming. That was a quick one.
Yeah.
Truman Show.
Well,
Jim
you
Carrey.
saved 2 hours of my life, I guess.
That's what I try to do. I try to help. That's all. I'm a helper.
You know what? Ace Ventura is way creepier now. I watched that just a little while ago. I never realized how creepy that movie was. I remember liking it
That's fine.
and going, now I'm like, why did they ever think this was acceptable to make A, a cartoon, and then B, a child spinoff? Because it's creepy. Cable Guy makes so much more sense now. That dude just saw the future. He was like, no, he's not funny. He's creepy.
That's hilarious.
If you watch
So you're
Ace
saying-
Ventura again now, you're going to see it and you're going to be like, wow, this is really cringeworthy. Like, the faces he makes, the things that he does, holy cow. I remember Jim Carrey being really funny
It is funny.
in Ace Ventura, and now I watch it and I go, wow, he is a creepy mofo.
Well, he is crazy, so there's that.
Well, he is crazy, yeah.
But that's all right. I mean, you know, maybe he's right. We're all living in a fake world, and then the reality is actually reality. It's quite possible.
You mean The Truman Show?
No. The
You
Truman
mean-
Show was a movie that he was in.
You mean in number 13?
No. I mean, in real life, not believing that any of us are real.
I couldn't remember the date. The Sunshine movie, the Immaculate Sunshine.
Oh, yeah, I
thing.
couldn't tell you.
That film is crazy, though.
That
It was
one's
good.
crazy,
It was
too.
really good, though.
Maybe it's just all his movies that made him weird.
Maybe.
That's all right, though. I mean, he paints.
Does he think he doesn't live in reality?
There's been some videos that come out that seem that way, yeah.
Is he, like, connected to the Elon Musk thing where we're living in the
I don't
Matrix?
think he's connected to Musk at all, but it's a very similar concept.
Huh.
Yeah, where I'm like alternate reality, sure. Okay. Merging realities, okay, sure. Fake reality? I don't know, man. Maybe. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're prescribed to. That's an entire different conversation, and that spun way more different than I expected it to.
Yeah, we're getting a long way from Infinity War.
All I was
Let's
trying
go
to do
back.
is throw eggs at the wall. That's all I was trying to do.
What are you telling me? Is Infinity War so bad that we're trying to
No.
avoid this thing?
You've seen Infinity War, Craig. You know it's not bad.
No,
I know you saw it because you're there with me.
I already spoiled my opinion anyway because I already said that the worst it would be is,
Still
entertaining.
good? Oh, all right, then.
I'm just saying that Jim Carrey should probably be Plastic Man in DC.
Oh, my God. You know how
That would
amazing
be
that would be?
awesome.
That'd be great.
That would
would
be,
work awesome.
yeah, man. A lot of reasons.
I think he's a little crazy, but he's a benign kind of crazy.
Yeah, well-
He's not like bad.
That would
Might have
fit
to-
Plastic Man 100%.
Might have to turn down the creepy a little bit, but
You gotta get a hold of his agent.
He's already
Send him
halfway
along.
made out of elastic, so he can be Plastic Man.
Yeah,
Easy.
Rubber Man. He's already there.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah, totally doable.
He
Totally
kind of looks
doable.
like him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just with
Slap the goggles on him.
exactly. Goggles in the onesie and you're good.
Mm-hmm. Done.
Totally fits. 100%. Man, that's amazing casting. Good job.
I think he's actually less expensive now. He used to be the most expensive actor in Hollywood.
I don't know why you gotta throw that out there, Rob. It's like pushing the guy under the bus.
I'm just saying.
It's already bad enough that I made fun of him and called him crazy. So you're gonna show him to shoot somebody. It's probably me.
Maybe he should take less, and then he could be Plastic Man.
It'd be
Just
awesome.
call him.
Hell yeah.
It's like Ryan Reynolds. Right?
Yeah, that's
Call him.
maybe he doesn't know that. I'm sure he probably does. I mean, after all, the first movie is Rubber Man or Rubber Face, Rubber something. Anyway,
Something like that.
that's enough
yeah.
Jim Carrey. My God,
Yeah, he's not. We don't even need to.
he doesn't connect to this at all
No.
yet. Well, and if he does on the side that Rob's
Well,
suggesting, it'd be
damn.
DC, so it's not the same.
Plastic Man is DC, so they'll try and make it like grim and gritty and edgy, and
But he does have a terrible backstory.
he does.
Yeah, working for the mob, and Well, I guess there's two different backs. It doesn't matter. Plastic Man's benign to the situation. Rob, tell me some stuff about Infinity War.
Well, there's actually a lot of things that happen in Infinity War, and I think one of the biggest things is that we have a year to speculate on what's going to really stick in Infinity War. So, hopefully you've watched the film. But let's just go ahead and talk a little bit about the opening of the film. We begin right off the bat with Thanos making his appearance on what's left of the Asgardian cruiser.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it's not really an Asgardian cruiser, but, you know.
Well, it's a ship that the refugees and everybody escapes Asgard being destroyed by Surtur in order to destroy Hela, which also ruins another movie if you haven't watched it. But that's alright. So yes, it can be, it's a ship from the battle planet, but whatever.
Yeah. So one of the things that I didn't actually think about, that somebody has brought to my attention, is that, you know, we of course don't see most of the rest of the gladiators from the World War Hulk story, and we don't see Valkyrie or a lot of the other Asgardians. So there's a pretty good possibility that they actually escaped, went into some kind of escape pods and have left. So we could actually see them making an appearance again in the next Avengers.
It's possible, but of those
Battle World Gladiators, I don't see it.
No, I don't think we'll see Doug.
There's a possibility that.
I think the only one of that group that would be a name drop that would maybe have survived and show up would be Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And only because she was created for the last movie. So, as a thing, what I would like is I'd like a movie that is a go-between movie that is Sif and Valkyrie explore the universe and each other. Because I think that'd be awesome. No? Only me? Okay.
I'm on board for it.
See, I like how Craig's on. That means I'm in the wrong place if Craig's on board with me, isn't it? It means I've steered the car so far left.
It's only because I want to see Sif do more stuff.
No, it would
She
be
was a
nice.
cool character
Jamie
and all.
Alexander. Apparently, according to the directors in interviews, they've said that Sif is dead. That Sif is one of the ones that died. But like how or when,
well,
who knows? Because she wasn't in the last two movies.
I didn't see it in the movie, so it didn't happen.
It's true.
Well, and then there is a strong possibility that this is clearing out all of the Asgardians.
Oh yeah.
So that we can
Clearly.
Well, I mean, okay, so
If them and only one other franchise fared worse in terms of survivability on this movie.
Well, the other one already has movies scheduled. That's why their deaths are hollow.
We'll get to that one here in a minute.
Go on, Rob.
well, I mean, I guess I was jumping sort of towards the end there, but for me, I mean, the three that survived were the ones that I didn't think were going to make it, because they were all the ones that have contractual issues carrying on.
And that's something else I kind of question too a little bit. I mean, yeah, there's all these published contracts or whatever, but are they using that to game us? I mean, I'm going to say it's possible only because after watching the trailers.
Let's cover that part at the end.
Okay.
Right now we're
Still
trying to
towards
just
middle
do the
beginning.
overview, you know.
Who's dead? Okay.
Right.
So at this point, the Asgardians that matter got killed super weak style in Ragnarok.
Which, yeah.
Because the Warriors 3 are all killed completely worthlessly, and that's another piece that pisses me off about that movie. Now, granted, I don't hate that movie. A lot of people believe I hate it. I don't hate it. I don't like that Thor doesn't talk like Thor, which I think the only reason in this movie, when he meets the Guardians, Chris Pratt imitates him, is to sell us that he's talking like Thor again. I fully believe that. Yeah, it's funny, but I think the whole reason it's there is to prove the fact, oh yeah, he's still talking like Thor, guys. Haha, sorry. We screwed up last movie when we decided to just let him come from Australia and hang out.
Kind of to resell his Thor.
To resell his accent and resell him being Thor. I completely believe that's what it is. Completely.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's definitely a big change in tone for how Thor is treated in the Avengers film as he is treated in the Ragnarok film.
True.
And for me, I think just the tone of the Thor films is what's been thrown off. Like, they just haven't figured out where they want to go. Like, Thor 1 I thought was pretty good, but it didn't wow anybody. And then Thor 2 was so dark, people just tuned out. So Thor 3 was too funny. Downside is I don't think there'll be a Thor 4 to like hit the mix. We'll see, you know. But
probably not. What with all the supporting cast gone?
There's only two things moving forward. I mean, either Thor is not going to come out at the end of this, and that's why they've gotten rid of all the Asgardians, or we're going to see, you know, kind of the Thor rebirth storyline where we find out that a lot of the Asgardians have a human shell or something,
Right.
and they can be re-brought back out. But I mean, ultimately,
I always did like that storyline. So.
Yeah, J. Michael Straczynski storyline.
Right.
TV writer also.
the downside is, how are we hurt in the overall scheme of things if we don't have the Warriors 3, if we don't have Sith, if we don't have the Executioner, if we don't have Hell, if we don't have Odin? I mean, really, we're not.
It doesn't kill the Avengers franchise by any means.
No. And I mean, ultimately, they've used those characters so badly in the Thor stuff, it really doesn't even affect the Thor stuff.
Not really.
So,
Which is unfortunate. But,
yeah. I guess that Bata Ray was supposed to be in Ragnarok, and he was pulled the last minute, but they left the statue in. So that could have been something that was interesting.
That makes me even sadder now, Rob.
It is a little sad.
Oh.
But, so let's assume that no one escapes with that new knowledge.
Sure.
Well, you know, space was a wacky place.
Now it's just a corpse
now
field?
it's a big graveyard.
Nice.
But, I think Loki is the big question mark here. Because, I mean, obviously, they throw out, oh, you can't fake your death twice, right before he does something very un-Loki-like. And there's a conspiracy kind of theory out there now that somehow Loki threw his mind or was completely illusioning that he's actually the Hulk.
Well, merged with the Hulk.
Or that he merged with the Hulk, his psyche merged with the Hulk. My guess really is that he channeled his inner frost giant and kind of froze himself to protect himself from Thanos killing him. And then he's still alive. Because, I mean, it's the one part of what he does that doesn't fit his character. I mean, even if he's turning around the corner to try to be a hero, why stand right in front of him to try to stab him in the throat? Why not hang around a bit, wait until the Black Order's gone, try to make any kind of play for any of the other jewels? I mean, it seems very un-Loki-like to do what he did. Now, Loki has also become much stupider as time has gone by, which is kind of just, I don't know, not great writing for his character. But he is a fan favorite, and I mean, ultimately, if you take out all of Asgard, you can still have Loki. No one's really going to care.
Right.
And he's such a big part of the films at this point. I don't know. I mean, he kind of would be a bad choice to get rid of. Marvel's done very good at thinking forward and not taking its villains off the playing field, which I think has really helped them have a little bit longer in their storytelling.
Yeah, there's a couple that are arguable with that. I mean, there's a few that they seem to have squandered, but...
It's true. You know, like, Baron Zemo kind of feels like he's squandered, although he is still alive.
Right. Strucker
Definitely was one.
Claw.
Crossbone, Claw.
Mm-hmm.
I was really sad to see Claw go, because he was probably one of the scariest villains to me.
Well, as a thing, he was easily the most believable, and man, talk about a real-world villain. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, he was the most dangerous to me because he didn't have any maniacal plans. He was just a hillbilly with a nuke. Like, Zerka's take on Claw totally kind of changes who he is. Now, could they still play a geek that Claw's not dead? Yeah, I doubt it, though.
Could be.
I think it's too
Could do
funny.
a son.
Son of Claw?
Son of Claw.
It sounds like an Inspector Gadget cartoon.
I guess it's possible.
Good.
You know,
Then do the other type of version of Claw, I guess. But Circus did a pretty good job.
I would have believed them going with that had his arm cannon exploded, which is kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. Because then you could have wiped him out and brought him back later as the Soundwave version of him.
The one, the unitard, but more robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see him again, but regardless of that, back to the Avengers Infinity War.
So here's the next question, really. Like, the Hulk gets beat, and now he's afraid. It's not necessarily too connected to the comic that the Hulk would react this way. Do you think that this is them kind of building off of his personality growth that he's had from Ragnarok? Because the Hulk really became his own unique character in Ragnarok with that whole year or whatever that he was the Hulk. Do we think that that's why he's afraid to come out? Is that he's just seen somebody who's actually stronger than him, so he won't come out? Or is this possibly Loki mind control? Or, I don't
know. If I was...
I am going with the idea that they're even more of a split personality than they've ever been. They're really playing that up. And that Hulk finally found somebody that was stronger than him and tougher than him. And he could never, ever reach that point where he could possibly beat Thanos. So the Hulk personality is really scared. That's what I think.
Well, I'm along the persuasion that, like, the Loki thing being inside Hulk, I find to be fairly unlikely. I mean, it's not impossible, but I don't prescribe to that idea, really. I mean, that's a little much for me. The idea that he really is truly afraid of Thanos, okay, I mean, that's viable. I feel like there's a wasted ED a joke in there for sure, because that's exactly what it would be. So I feel like that was a waste, so I missed that one. But the way I understand it is the idea of him not transforming wasn't part of the original script either. It was something that happened later on that they went with instead. So if that's the case, then the Loki hidden thing is impossible. Granted, maybe they decide afterwards, like, Hiddleston wants to do this some more, so maybe we should figure out a way to keep him alive. In that case of being disjointed and broken, okay, I guess I can understand that. Otherwise, I have to prescribe it to the idea that the Hulk, I guess him being afraid it's viable. But my real problem with that is that Avengers 1, Banner full on tells the story of eating the bullet, which is from the deleted scenes of Incredible Hulk, the Ed Norton movie. And when he put the gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger, he woke up as the Hulk. So with that in mind, yeah, the Hulk feeling like he's afraid of fighting Thanos is one thing, but the Hulk having, I guess maybe the year of being alive, he realized that he could die too, I guess, maybe. So, I don't know. I guess I don't know which one of those things I believe entirely. I think that the Loki thing is the most far-cried thing in the world, but at the same time, the proof we have to the adding that later on, the whole Hulk not coming out thing, we have all the trailers with the Hulk in it. All the fighting sequences in the trailers with the Hulk in it. So it means all they did is replace the Hulk with the
Betty, the Hulkbuster.
The Hulkbuster unit. And then refilm a couple of scenes with Ruffalo's face. Which was just the only part of the CGI that I wasn't very much a fan of, is when he's inside the suit at the end and it's like the dude floating on top of metal stuff, sort of.
Yeah, it did look a little funky.
Yeah, other than that, the rest of the CGI was great. But if you budgeted CGI to throw away on the Hulk to trick people, seems like a waste.
I don't know. I mean, they've done that in the past.
Yeah, I mean, they have, but best I understand about it, at least from the couple interview things I read, is that was something added afterwards. Reasoning behind it? Don't know yet. I mean, maybe they want to make the Hulk deeper. Maybe there was a way to get Loki out of the situation. I mean,
revised an idea, maybe.
Possibly.
Something that they're going to use for the second movie.
Maybe. I think that's the idea. I prescribe to the idea that if any of them are actually dead, it's Humdell and Loki, and then everybody else got sucked into the gym. But that's just what I think.
Yeah, I'm relatively certain that Humdell is dead.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Idris Elba's amazing, but as a character in general, they're not going to do a Humdell movie.
Well, he also asked to step away.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, he's been courted by Warner Brothers to possibly be Green Lantern. Yeah.
Well,
Which would be awesome, too.
he's a hot commodity, and he needs to go out and do his thing, and Heimdall, in the scheme of things, is an extended cameo. I love him, but
Yeah.
he can do way better than just Heimdall.
True. Whether it be James Bond or Green Lantern, both things would be awesome.
Right?
But, so moving on from Loki, we of course have Thor thrown into space, and eventually he's found by the Guardians, and like you said, we have the whole thing with Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth, doing the voices. And then they break up the Guardians, of course, and send them on their way, and we get our introduction of our new dwarf character, which was a super cool cameo.
Heck yeah.
Once again, I think Marvel's been very smart in making its heroes lesser-known actors and its side characters the stars. Because, then you get immediate, recognition for these side characters, but you're not having to bang out that cash every time.
Yeah, I think it was pretty clever to use
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage as the giant dwarf.
Heck yeah.
And it was a neat way to build that new hammer, which is, of course, they take the name Stormbringer from Beta Ray, but it's the look of the ultimate Thor hammer.
Stormbreaker, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is a little weird to have Groot's branch or whatever is the handle, but ultimately, whatever, it was kind of a touching moment, I guess.
Sure.
It worked for the film. But it also gives us a chance to really kind of show off the new power level of Thor with his thunder god inside of him. The only thing I don't really understand is why he needed a hammer. But I guess since this was a Odin design hammer, maybe it has its own special properties.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily a matter of need or a matter of, crutch. I'll give you, being that he made Stormbreaker an axe, well, axe and hammer. The axe part, more for cutting. So, as a weapon to kill a god, makes
more
sense.
Of a psychological thing, myself.
Yeah, I think so too. It's at least part of that.
For the movieverse, maybe it acts as a focus for him,
Yeah, it's possible.
Because in this third movie, he felt a little less focused, He could all of a sudden pull lightning and what all that he didn't seem to do in the past. But and that might have been a side effect of him losing the hammer, but now he can channel that into his new weapon and what all, and bring back his whole idiom.
So he gets his groove back because of the axe?
Right.
That's
how Thor got his groove back.
Exactly.
It does also connect into the comics for the Jason Aaron run.
Yeah.
Where we started to have Jarbon, the axe that was made to kill Celestials.
Yeah, it's like a mixed match between all three of those things. It's a mix of Jawbone, Stormbreaker for the name, and then the Ultimate Thor from Ultimate Marvel Comics hammer. Mm-hmm. So it's like a mixed match of all three things, pretty much. But as far as a necessary thing, I'm going to go with the idea that he doesn't know how to harness his power because he's just brand new Thor, Rob.
Well, he probably doesn't need it, but it is. It wasn't, rather than him just making another weapon, it is supposed to be a Thor or an Odin weapon, I guess. So either way, kind of getting back to where we go from there, we get to see. They play with the idea that Iron Man doesn't have the arc anymore, so maybe he did use the Extremist.
Well, he's supposed to have removed it from himself at the end of the last movie where he throws it off the cliff where his old house was. So, at this point, the arc reactor thing in his chest apparently is not necessarily a thing anymore. He just still has a prosthetic one, I guess? Or
I think it was just attached to his gear.
Right.
And so it's just the new suit.
They made it sound like it was like a prop that was on his chest now.
Right, that it wasn't real?
Yeah. It was just for his branding or whatever, because, Stark is savvy about that kind of thing.
I guess at this point that must be where the nanites live, which
Right.
I'm a little sad that it's nanites instead of extremists, but whatever. I mean, that's a super small thing to have in there. I've always hated extremists anyways in the comic. I hate nanites too, but whatever. It works, and it made Iron Man pretty impressive for this one, so... but yeah, the introduction with him and his interactions with Doctor Strange, I thought was actually really pretty well done.
Yeah, the two played off each other really well.
Yeah, and Wong was actually fantastic in there again. I mean, I think that's kind of the best way to do some of these side characters is, we still bring them in, we still acknowledge that they're there, they just have their time and then they move on because they have other stuff to do. The whole world has other things going on, even if this is the biggest kind of thing, there's still the day-to-day stuff that has to be done, so. But I think they did a great job of, especially, throughout the whole movie, I actually think they did a great job of always going, this is how powerful this character is, let's make sure that they're always that powerful. And not pulling the Superman punching bag, where we have to show, oh, this guy's really strong, so he's gonna knock out Superman, but then Black Widow's gonna knock him out. They did a good job of always making sure that everybody was using their abilities kind of at their utmost and not having obvious moments where it's like, well, why didn't this guy do this? Why didn't this guy do that? And I think that was a really well done scripting and directing.
Well, yeah, play-wise, I think, Spider-Man used the webs to try to catch people because that's what he does.
And I thought everybody got their time in the spotlight that was in the movie, and they made a good accounting of themselves.
Right.
I didn't think that anybody was steamrolled unduly,
And they actually saved people.
Right.
Amazingly, right? Something that other film franchises forgets. Well, that's what heroes do.
We don't talk about that, Rob. Made a mistake
that's
earlier.
because we finally got Spider-Man back, and that's what he does. He's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He goes around rescuing people.
There you go.
That's true.
The other end is that even though I don't even think they have name drops, they actually use the Black Order really well.
Yeah, they did pretty good with them. I kind of expected a little more from Glaive, as far as things, but they did a pretty good job. And the only time he really gets whooped is when their props are gone. Mm. So they did okay matching them up to what they were.
I'm not gonna lie. As comic characters go, I don't hate them as characters, but I've grown to despise them as villains. And so I had absolutely no problem when Approximate Midnight and Glaive are killed. I actually was like, yes, get out of here.
I think that was supposed to be the right reaction.
Well, I did a good job of it. I don't know if it sells for just people watching the movie, but as a fan, I hate those characters. So
take that, Black Order.
Having them dead was fine for me.
Yeah, I don't think they ever call them the Black Order in the movie.
No, I don't think so.
But
I barely caught any of their names except for the one that got axed first, the Maw.
Oh, the Ebony Maw. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was the only one that I caught their name, and everything else I caught from side material or whatever. I don't recall them saying, "Oh, this is Proxima Midnight," and "Oh, watch out for that dude, the elf guy."
Curvis Glaive.
Glaive.
Glaive,
okay,
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, no, I don't think they did either. And
unless, after they do, oh, Glaive is dead too. I'll have to watch out for you. Oh my God, I got eaten by a thing.
Which I'm not sad about. Sometimes you spend so much time going let's show you all the bad guys and this is their names. Make sure you remember them so you can buy them later. I thought they did a good job of just getting them out there.
But how am I going to know who to buy later?
You read the credits because their names are in the credits.
That's true.
Thanks. I'm glad I sat through the credits to see that very end.
That's important. It's important.
That's why they put a stinger at the end of the credits.
Yes.
So you know who to buy.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, that and, finally the people who do the unglamorous jobs maybe you see their name.
Yeah, but I'm not going to buy them later.
You never know.
True.
Might get Steve the Dolly Grip. don't
would be awesome, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Only if it was a Lucas
Looking forward
product. If it was a Star Wars product, they'd eventually get there.
Well, if Lucas,
Jimmy, the best boy.
if Lucas was still driving the boat, maybe. But they kept creating characters like the guy with the ice cream machine from Empire. He got a figure. I don't know why, but he did.
Everybody gets a toy, Steve.
That's cool. Take that, pocketbook.
But, yeah, a lot of great things there. And I think they actually use characters like the Black Dwarf, the one with the axe. I think they use him better there than they did in the comic. Because he really comes across well, and it's a good, like, immediate visual. Okay, he's a big guy, he's got an axe, he's strong. So, it played out really well.
Oh, yeah. Like, fight-wise, they did a pretty good job with all that.
But from there, we wind up taking everything off Earth. And even though they go back and retread the ground with Spider-Man with the really old movie joke, I thought it still worked because I thought it played out really well. The aliens reference.
Sure.
You know, and it's once again harnessed with Star-Lord and Pete's interaction. So I'm kind of interested to see where that's going to go from here on out, if we see that again. But their ultimate plan that should defeat Thanos on the moon of Titan,
Yeah.
was actually...
I think they're supposed to actually be on Titan, but...
Yeah, well, Titan's a moon of Saturn.
Yeah.
Either way. It was well done. I thought they played that out pretty well. I guess we're actually skipping one part, and I completely forgot about it.
A lot of parts. There's all sorts of ADD things going on.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but like when we get the reality gem, which was, I think, the only gem I think the power gem was the only one that wasn't discovered before this point.
The power gem was in the first Guardians.
Was it?
It's the purple one.
What I got is that they started off the movie with one gem already installed.
Yeah.
We didn't see how he got a hold of that or if he always had that.
Yeah, I thought that was the power gem.
They talk about him wiping out the Nova Corps. They talk about him wiping out the planet, which was a Nova Corps planet, which is what made most of his comic book people say, "Oh, we might get a Nova movie now," because that's how the Nova thing happened in the comic books.
They destroyed the Xernia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. The power one is in Guardians 1.
Guardians 1, and they leave it with the council to take care of.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, we didn't see him do that. We just heard him do it.
We hear about it.
But he starts off the movie with that one in play. Then he attacks the Asgardians on the ship and
Collects the Tesseract /
right.
Yeah, the space
cube.
gem.
Cosmic Cube. Yeah.
So he gets that one from the Asgardians.
Yep.
Then he goes on to
Nowhere.
Yes.
That's the part I was forgetting.
Because Thor ends up on the Guardian ship, and they split the team.
Right.
With the Rabbit and Groot and Thor going to Dwarf Planet to forge his new weapon, and the rest of the team going to Nowhere to try and stop Thanos.
Right. The Rabbit / Trash Panda / Rocket Raccoon.
Right. Meanwhile, we go to Earth for Hulk in the big climactic battle number 1 to stop him from getting Strange's time gem.
The time gem, the first battle is over that, and that leads to space.
Right.
So that's where the break becomes in the two. But yeah, the space-wise, we have the Guardians go to Nowhere. Nowhere's where he collects the ether, or the red gem.
Yeah, the Reality Stone.
And uses that to turn Mantis basically into a spring. Which I thought she was
disturbing.
Dead. Yeah. Man, it was messed up.
Yeah.
And that's actually directly from the comics.
Yep.
It's different people.
I believe it, but it was still messed up to see in real life and what all.
Yeah.
To see, Mantis turn into that
Coily spring
thing,
person? Yes.
And for Drax to get quartered like that and what all.
Drax's was a little more takeable, but Mantis's was definitely
no, that was not right.
My God.
Control.
Yeah.
I'm not wild of that kind of thing, even in comics and what all. But, in comics is one thing, but in 3D reality is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy.
Even crazier.
Heck yeah. So that gives us the red gem. Then after that, the last chase, So the battle on Titan eventually results in him getting the time gem.
Right.
Which,
and from the time gem where Maw captures Doc Strange to bring to Thanos on Titan, that's when he gets iced out his space rod.
right.
And they decide to go to Titan with Tony,
Strange,
and Spider-Man.
Yep. That's how they get there. Then they're joined by the other part of the Guardians.
Gamora comes later.
Yep. Gamora comes later. She's,
Nebula. Nebula's not on the space rod. She's with Thanos.
Yeah, she's not around yet. Okay, so we're confusing Nebula and Gamora, because Gamora, after Nowhere,
right.
Thanos takes her and leaves the rest of the Guardians to piece themselves back together because the gem's not around anymore, which is also kind of weird.
I think
he says he spares him because he kind of likes
Peter. But the rest of the team, they just got better.
It just kind of the reality effect he takes back, I guess.
Yeah, I think he just really they weren't a threat,
right?
So why even bother?
He already turned his gun into a bubble gun.
Right, that's true.
Which was hilarious, but,
That's pretty good. Eventually, that's where it leads him to the Soul Gem with Gamora, and that's where Nebula and Gamora are together. And we see Gamora tortured, pretty much just like the comics.
Mm-hmm. Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. And that eventually leads to the Ring Wraith, which is a pretty good reveal that I didn't expect to come.
No.
Right.
So
at first I thought I saw him and I didn't see him real clear. I thought it was supposed to be some sort of future version of Vision or something like that, or a spirit version of Vision that got messed up. That didn't make any sense. And then about the same time as they were going to that screen, I was going, it's been a long time since we've seen anything with Red Skull. I wonder what if anything they're going to do with Red Skull. And then, there he is, of course.
Right. I don't
know how he got there, but okay, there's the Red Skull.
I think the way they're leaning from the story, at least from what little pieces we get, is that rather than disappearing into the Cosmic Cube, which is what most of us expected from the comic book world, in the first Avenger, the first Captain America movie. Instead of that, the Tesseract teleported him, I guess, to that planet. And then once he was on the planet, he decided to go try to collect the Soul Gem himself. Ultimately, since he had nothing to trade, I'm saying he traded himself, and that's what turned him into the Ring Wraith. So yeah, Red Skull basically became a Ring Wraith for selling himself to the gem, but after he did that, he couldn't take the gem anyway because he was dead. So, yeah, creepy and weird. Really cool, because we got the Red Skull again, out of nowhere. Yeah. So that was neat. Which actually, the guy who played that is not Hugo Weaving. It's the guy, now I don't remember his name, dang it. He's from the TV show Walking Dead. He plays Aaron. The recruiter guy on The Walking Dead.
It's been a long time.
I don't know why I can't remember his name. Anyway, he does a bunch of voice impressions, and he does a really pretty good Hugo Weaving impression. And a lot of other ones. He's got a whole slew of videos on YouTube that are of him doing impressions of people.
I was wondering if they got him back, and I didn't think they did.
No, totally different guy whose name I just can't remember.
He did a good job doing the Hugo Weaving voice.
Oh yeah, yeah, he did surprisingly awesome. But yeah, the dude does a lot of impressions in general. But yeah, that's the other thing he's really face-wise he's known for is The Walking Dead.
Not that they did explain how he became the Ring Wraith, but I don't know. Maybe he got transported there, and like you said, he traded his body, but only after he'd been there for a while. He couldn't get the thing, and he knew he was going to die, so he traded his body just so he could live. But
it's hard to say. We don't get enough play out of it, but the little bit that's said lead to that direction. And obviously he's trapped there and has been trapped there for a fair amount of time.
Right.
Because last time we saw him was when Cap crashed the plane in the water.
Well, it's been a fair bit.
Yeah. So.
Which, I actually saw Captain America the First Avenger again just recently. It is pretty impressive that the Tesseract was always going to be the space gem. Because you can actually see it open up and have an effect where it's shooting him out into the cosmos instead of pulling him into the gym.
That's crazy.
But he's sort of filling in the role of physical death from
Kind
the
of,
comic book.
yeah.
Because that was something they didn't want to tackle in the film, which honestly I'm glad for. Thanos' character is essentially connected to that, but it's not something that plays well, I think, in a film. So cool that we could have it and it not have to be the physical representation of death.
Yeah,
So.
Maybe less explained.
I'd rather a death remain a idea and not a personage.
Yeah. It's like they mix match Gamora and the Red Skull to get both pieces. So, like, that part's a little creepy, but it's not, ultimately it's not that same kind of relationship, so it's different. It actually makes him more endearing a little bit. I mean, the whole father-daughter thing is...
Thanos?
Yeah, it makes him more, I don't know.
It gives a lot more personality to him.
Humanizes him more, I guess.
I absolutely agree with that. Thanos is the bad guy, but he's an understandable bad guy, actually. Weirdly enough.
At least
he's killing people all in the background, but, you know, he takes Gamora as a kid and what all, and says, focus on this. Focus on this. Don't pay attention to that. That's not important. Pay attention to this. This is what you need to pay attention to.
Right. Yeah, they definitely do some things with that in there to sell him as
an evil son bitch.
Oh yeah, he's a tyrant for sure.
But he has his motivations that makes him relatable, weirdly enough.
Yeah, in a weird kind of sadistic type way.
Like Robert says, it somehow makes him endearing.
Yeah.
Weird.
Definitely.
His movie motivations, I think, are a lot better than the comic motivations. I think they work better.
Right.
Because you can kind of see, and you can even kind of agree with some of his stuff in the film. Whereas in the comic, like he's obviously off his rocker.
Right.
So.
He's definitely a mad titan in the comic.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do wonder if how much of that was in the script and how much of that was just, you know, Josh Brolin being really, really good.
I assume it's a mixed match of both, but yeah, as a thing, I'm more of the opinion that if he's trying to fix the universe and this is the only way he sees he can do it, versus he has a boner so he's chasing death, which is weird.
Yeah, I like the idea better.
Anyhow.
But,
so from there we get the time gem. Did we already do that? Because we just now talked about the soul gem.
Yeah.
So from there we finish the battle on Titan, which gives us the Doctor Strange time gem, with Strange basically relinquishing it for the most part.
And finally we see Strange do some magic that's really cool and not just lifted from Inception.
Well,
he was doing some pretty cool magic stuff. Multiple arm stuff, you know,
yeah, that's pretty
flip in
cool.
and whatnot.
Well, in the crystal, if you haven't seen Doctor Strange, the crystal wall comes from Doctor Strange. That's what the spell that they used to trap everything inside of reality they couldn't destroy. So he tried it. It just didn't work. So I thought it was cool they tried to use the most powerful spell we really saw in his own movie. And we see that Thanos defeats it. So, like, I thought that was cool. So again, like you said, people got to do their powers without being like, why didn't they do this spell? Why didn't they do that spell?
Yeah.
Because he tried. So
I think that was probably the best things for the film. And it'd be really easy to rely just on the whip thing. And so I think it was really good that they actually used the teleporting and they used the different kind of spells. And yeah, we do get to see that Doctor Strange is really, really powerful in this film. So once again, like, everybody gets to have their moments, and
sure.
It feels really well done.
Right.
In between fighting with, arguing with Spidey and Tony, Doctor Strange goes through all the possibilities of how what could happen on Titan.
All the realities.
All of them fail except for one thing.
Right.
And we don't know what it is yet.
I'm going to say that's what we're seeing. That's an easy answer.
It's got to be.
Yes.
But whatever it is, the reality.
Suspense, guys. Suspense.
Oh, right,
they
right.
haven't seen the second movie yet.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, right,
But
true.
whatever that answer is, it's an answer that, if Tony even knew it, would cause that not to work. So it's something that has to be done in the moment. So
Sure.
it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So then we go from there to the last gem, which is the mind gem.
Which plays on quite a bit throughout the movie with them taking Vision out of commission pretty early and showing that Vision can be very vulnerable while still selling the idea that Glaive and Proxima are pretty heavy hitters.
Well, yeah, as far as the two of them are concerned, by themselves they're really impressive fighting force. But then when you stack them against like our best two humans, well, three best humans and a witch, like it makes a pretty big dent for them. And like anybody fighting Captain America, there's a whole lot to the dude. Like not just the super strength thing, but like he's tactically genius. So him disarming them, it doesn't sell the weapons enough. Which one of the weapons, as long as the guy has a hold of it, he's undefeatable. As soon as he loses the weapon, he's just a dude. Well, not just a dude, he's a lot weaker.
Some kind of alien dude.
And it's like we show him get disarmed pretty quickly by Cap, which leans to the comic book order of him a lot. I thought that was really cool, because with his weapon, he's supposed to be nearly unstoppable. And he's the one that basically stabs the shit out of Vision. But nevertheless, that's chased through the entire movie for the most part. And like we have all this stuff happen in Wakanda with the sister, Black Panther's sister, trying to remove the gem in order to have the Wanda destroy it. I think anything that gets rebooted from him will be because of that.
My guess is that we will see Vision back in the next film.
Oh yeah.
My guess is that we're going to actually see the white Vision, in this case probably the gray Vision. But I don't know. I mean, that's actually a really neat storyline as well. And it's cool that they're going to... It looks like they could realize it in this next film. But it plays a level of self-sacrifice that makes sense as well. Because there's a lot of times where the self-sacrifice trope is used, and it's like you could literally do anything other than just sacrifice yourself.
Right.
In this case, there was no other answer.
But by the time they got to where they were at, yeah. I like how... I think the whole reason most of us think that they're moving forward with what the comic book did with him is because we see all the color disappear.
Yeah.
His body doesn't destroy, he doesn't just shut down like a dead robot. Like, the color fades out of him and goes to the gray tone. Which is
like a transformer.
Well, like the story element when he lost all his color in the comics because he lost his emotional presence.
His humanity. Yeah.
So, like, yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. I thought that was really cool. Anyway.
Well, the other side is, I mean, they sell his humanity so hard in this one.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
That
I definitely feel like we're going to lose a character when we lose the soul gem or the mind gem, right?
The mind gem.
Mind gem, yeah. Well, like, the way he stays there for Cap, and he takes Cap's words to heart about not sacrificing one person. So, yeah, they sell his humanity, like, a ton. So when we get to the next movie, a Vision that's not human, or doesn't have humanity, I think it'll be a very different thing.
Yeah, this could be really interesting.
Heck yeah.
But, from there, of course, we have the final confrontation with Thor making it back to Earth with his new weapon, the big final fight down. Which I was a little not super happy with them just releasing the weird monster creatures with the forearms. I would have probably been better off if they'd released Chitauri again from Avengers 1, the big space worms or whatever, but whatever, I guess. You need something to hit that shield, so...
Now they already know what destroys the Chitauri. Destroy the Mother Hub and you're good. New villains, you don't know what to do about them.
This is true.
Until you get to doing it, so that's the whole purpose for that. Otherwise, find the hub ship. Get work done. Chitauri are stupid.
Yeah, this is true. They seem to be weird meat robots. But
that's kind of what they were.
Yeah.
Could have been a cool callback, though, for sure. Those dragon things that were flying through the city were pretty.
They were
cool.
crazy. Yeah, that's true.
But we have a pretty epic showdown there at the end, and like probably the biggest scope that I think we've had in an Avenger film.
Yeah, I think so.
And then of course we bring it back down to Thor and Thanos at the end there, where we get the final gem destroyed and then brought back and then
Hulk.
then used.
I was pretty sure it died like 3 different times, and that fight was that.
Oh,
intense.
Banner, you mean?
Banner.
Yeah,
Yes,
but Banner doesn't
Hulk.
die because the Hulk doesn't die.
I mean,
But yeah, he
got
should have lost an arm. Like the way
phased
that
into Rock.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I thought, well, there's the end.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the end right there.
Like, there's no reason that Ruffalo or the Hulkbuster Ruffalo, or sorry, Hulkbuster Bruce
Ruffalo
Banner.
Buster?
No,
The Banner
Bruce
Buster?
Banner driving the Hulkbuster. Yeah, he's phasing the Rock.
Bruce
He has that
Buster.
arm tore off altogether.
Mhm.
Like, we don't see a little person arm sticking out of there either, so there's no freaking way that makes any sense.
It was a very, very big robot, Steve.
Wow, I guess so. I mean, okay. Sure.
Everything's
I guess it used whole size.
all in there.
It's a tight fit, the way you described it just now. But yeah, body count wise, like, there's at least 2 or 3 times it seemed like he was a goner for sure. Obviously that's not what happened, but, whatever. Yeah, we do get some fade outs and some deaths. Do we want to talk about that, or just move past to
We
the...
can, because whatever, we're already...
At this point, time-wise, there's no...
They kind of already have to have seen the movie to make use of our companion, because
I guess that's
we
true.
kind of gloss over most of it.
Well, it's just
and
because there's so
squeeze
much
anything
stuff,
in
and
the-
like
in the
trying to
back.
keep this
It's a
on.
long movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of movie.
I'm saying that to catch it all, they probably need to see it at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff crammed in there.
that's true. Just pay really good attention. That's all.
I was paying attention. I still
Really
should
good
see it
attention.
like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But, so yeah, Thanos gets his wish. And we don't know exactly what that did to the gauntlet, but
It looks like it fries it, but yeah, the destruction of half the universe and the gauntlet itself looks like it's fried, which is weird, but not ununderstandable, I guess.
and from there he pieces out.
That's why I think that Doctor Strange did something before he handed over his gem.
Oh, the
And
time
we're-
gem?
And we're going to see that in the next film. For sure, we're going to see that, what he did in the next film.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything particular he did with the gem himself,
I'm
but
pretty sure he did something before he handed it over.
it's possible. I mean, it is possible. That would be a neat catch if that was the case. Ultimately, why he didn't just render it useless? I mean, that's
He couldn't do
questionable.
that
But
because then he would have killed Tony.
oh yeah, it would kill Tony, and Tony has to be alive for whatever Doctor Strange saw.
Exactly.
At least one Sherlock has to survive.
That's right.
That's true.
At least
A
one.
missed opportunity there.
That's true.
They could have been. They could have both turned to Spider-Man and said, "No shit, Sherlock."
That would have been awesome. Sherlock jokes lost. Erectile dysfunction jokes lost. The one that really hurts me though is like when Bucky first meets Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon's like, "Oh, it's a nice arm." He's like, "I want it." He's like, "Yeah, no, not getting." He's like, "I'm getting that arm."
Totally.
And then Bucky's one of the ones that fades, but his arm fades too. If they would have left the arm,
Yeah, the arm should have dropped.
arm should have fell off and stayed.
Yeah.
So the arm would have stayed.
It
and then we
wasn't his original arm.
That's
It
true.
could've stayed.
It totally could have. At this point, he's had at least 2 that we know of.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, for who knows how many arms he's had. But ultimately, what we know of, there's at least 2. So yeah, like, it was a perfect opportunity for Rocket Raccoon to get his arm without, having enough to be a problem.
But it wouldn't have been as funny for Rocket.
That's true. It would have been sadder than anything else, but at the same time, that's like the redeeming quality for the next movie.
And that's
Where
what happens.
Rocket's like, well, at least I got the
Rocket
arm.
gets kicked in the face every time.
That's true. It's true.
It's sad.
Poor Bunny Rabbit.
He lost Mary Poppins,
It's true.
lost his buddy.
And that's twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's bad news.
Well, and so one thing that we didn't see in this
Huh.
that was rumored pretty hard was Yondu. There was a big deal about like Yondu supposedly being connected to the next Avengers movie and Rooker being around for it for whatever reason. So is that still a thing? Who knows? Because he definitely wasn't in the movie.
No, that's true.
I figured he was going to show up Jedi Ghost style or some shit, but
Well, I don't see that happening now, what with most of the Guardians did now.
Well, if they are stuck in the Soul Gem, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for him to be in the Soul Gem, but maybe the whole crossing over as a pirate thing they talked about with the crazy magical fireworks that are not supposed to be being done by ships, but being done by a galaxy. But if that's the case, then however many pirates would be stuck in the Soul Gem too, which seems like a weird
That's the
sausage
honor
party.
guard.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
special space fireworks.
If you say so. So yeah, I don't know about that part. There definitely is a scene that was cut from Ragnarok that Rucker shows up in as Yondu, and it's during the executioners killing the one little blonde girl that was ordered to be killed out of the group to get the others in line by Hela. He walks through the crowd, and then he gets in the front. He's like, "You gotta stop this!" And then he's like, "Hang on, where's Terry?" He asks for somebody's office, and a couple other people are like, "Oh, it's that direction." And he's like, "Carry on," and then he walks off. So, like, it's something that exists. Whether it was ever intended to be in the movie, ever, I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Because it's so bizarre.
Maybe it'll be an Easter egg for the...
I'm sure it'll be on the DVD. It's probably on the DVDs. If it's not, I'd be surprised. Because I think, didn't Ragnarok come out already?
Should, because Black Panther's out already.
Right. So, yeah, I'm sure it's out there someplace. You can see it on a DVD. If nothing else, Google Yondu Ragnarok, and you'll find it. So it's a thing that happened, but yeah, whether that would lend to anything else in the Guardians or not, or in the Infinity War or not, don't know. Best I can tell at this point, no.
Yeah. Major deaths.
Oh yeah, well, we cleaned the field with pretty much everybody that has a sequel lined up for the next 2 years.
If Spider-Man goes back to the Sony universe.
That's not what happened, but yeah.
Is everybody...
He totally went back to the Sony universe.
It's
that's
everybody...
why. That's why he was all. I don't want to leave. I want to be in the good universe.
Wah wah wah.
It's kind of everybody,
so sad.
But the people I expected to be dead.
Sure.
Right.
Well, we get the next movie, the ones that die. This time will be for real.
It's possible. Hopefully, this is not going to be the bubble burster. I don't think it will, because I think people actually have been met with this movie with, like, I think there's enough craziness that they kind of already are like, all right, a lot of this is not going to hold, and I don't think they're going to be so badly feeling that they were gypped.
Sure.
Coming into the next one. That was actually my biggest fear about them actually killing everyone off, is if you kill everyone, it's just to bring them all back, that's too much.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see if they leave anybody off the playing field actually or not. I mean, outside of the supporting cast for Thor, the rest of them, if they're all in the gym, then they all come back from the gym. The only one that wouldn't be would be Gamora, but because we saw little baby Gamora, pretty sure she's in the gym too, and it'd be the first soul that the thing took. I mean, her death is what gave him the gem in the first place, so if it didn't collect her soul, it wouldn't make any sense.
That makes sense to me. I could also see her being one of the ones that stays dead.
Sure.
And it would give
couple reasons
them something to go on to or replace one of their members with in a new Guardians movie.
Well, sure, and we know we're getting a Guardians in 2020, so, like, as far as cast, though, Guardians movie could be totally different people.
Yes.
Right.
It'd be weird if it was, but it could be.
Yeah.
Main reason I think we could see her left off the playing field is because she's also connected to James Cameron's Avatar, and we got the two of those happening here in the next 2 years, I guess. So because she's connected to that actress-wise, I could easily see her being left off the playing field of the Guardians simply because of contract or whatever. Does it mean it's a guarantee? Heck no. Like, at this point, we don't really know what's going on at all for that. But she makes the most sense simply because of other work she's lined up to do.
Sure.
So, anyhow, I guess we'll see if that winds up being the truth or not.
But, yeah, what is it? I know they're hot to trot to do a new Black Panther movie, what with the success of the first one. So
yep, they've got a rushed sequel.
Very surprising that he was one of the only one in his cast to go.
Well,
and I mean, honestly, if you don't clear it up before then, we can actually have the sister take over the mantle.
Yeah,
I
guess
think they
the
will.
second one's going to be released here in a year, and there's only 2 more movies before they release that one. So,
yeah, he's
I don't think
back.
it won't be a problem.
Yeah.
It'll be resolved by the time they put out any more sequels.
Oh, I'm sure. Because I mean, we got Ant-Man
and Wasp in July,
and then Captain Marvel
in March,
and then Avengers again.
yeah.
The ending I totally think it's him in the Soul Gem myself. So we'll see for Thanos.
Oh,
I don't know if it's him.
For his reverie
Yeah,
with a beautiful sunset and
Right.
the accolades of a grateful galaxy.
I just think that's him using the mind gem to project
For
what he wants.
end?
But
Yeah.
That's possible. But yeah, I think he's trapped in there.
that doesn't make sense to me because he didn't die. Like, if he would have faded away too, then okay. But because he steps himself away, it's not the same thing.
Well, we don't know how badly he was hurt. If he's hurt bad enough, the Soul Gem may try to claim him even though he's not dead.
That's true.
You know, and it'd just be another part of that story.
Well, I wonder if that's like one of the things that Strange did when he gave him the time thing.
Well, you never know. It's a good possibility, I guess.
Okay.
But
Maybe he sped up his time when he handed over the time stone. So whoever gets the time stone next, okay, you're rapidly going through your life cycle or something like that. So the Soul Gem gets you, and now he's in the Soul Gem. He's gotta play with the stuff.
I don't know about that, only because we didn't see him aging rapidly. If we would have seen him aging,
We don't know how a Titan ages.
well, that's
This is true. But of course, we also don't know if speeding his time up would do anything either. So
Sure.
my guess is that whatever.
But Strange already went through the possibilities and only saw one way to win.
right. But that doesn't mean Doctor Strange actually did anything. It means that I don't know. I'm gonna go with the idea that if you're gonna
but I
age
think
him,
he's done something. I'm not saying that's what he did.
sure.
I'm saying that Strange did something.
I think his play is more simple. I think it's just that Strange knew if this fight continues, Pete dies. Somebody else has a physical death before they get evaporated. Giving him the jewel now is the only way that these people are on the field
At the end.
to do our one chance.
Yeah, because what he tells him is like we're in the end game now, and then he fades away. So
Yeah, there's something that I doubt that he's done anything, but there's something he saw, and that seeing that made him have to have faith in Tony because he doesn't have it before.
that's true.
So I mean, I think ultimately Tony's going to be the answer, and I think that means Tony is dead for the answer.
Very possible.
But I think whatever it was that Strange saw, it's more about Tony's journey than it is about doing something. But who knows? You know, at this point, anything's on the table.
You don't think they're going to end it with Pepper and Tony's wedding, and that'll be the end of it? After credit
possible.
sequence?
It's possible, but we do know that Tony's
I
been
don't see why
haunted.
they wouldn't. I mean, it's been the culmination of 5 movies. 5 movies.
Yeah.
Counting this one, 5 movies.
We count
Been
Homecoming,
leading up to it.
then 6 movies.
6. Okay, yeah.
He's been haunted with the visions of the rest of the Avengers dying.
Right.
And it's connected to him. Now, you could end it with Tony stepping away and getting married, but I think if you do that, the question of where's Iron Man, why isn't there a drone, why isn't there something else, is always going to be a question. Without giving the suit to Rhodey completely.
Well, he's already revealed himself as Iron Man, so they'd know why there wasn't an Iron Man anymore. Because he's married and he's settled down now.
Yeah, but if the end of the world comes again, why doesn't Iron Man step up and put on a suit?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
So
then they have, if, Tony Stark, he's Tony Stark now, you know that.
it's not a matter of him revealing himself.
So,
It's not. None of that is the
Tony
question.
Stark is stepped away. They get the replacement guy to be in the suit, and they just have a movie Iron Man separate from Tony Stark now.
Yeah,
Nobody can.
I guess we could do Iron Heart.
Yeah, nobody can be Robert Downey Jr.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. is Stark. They just have to replace the guy. It had to have to be a completely different character.
Yeah, I think at this
far
point,
away from Tony Stark as possible.
I think at this point you can't James Bond him.
Right.
But I just don't think that's how they're going to do it. I think he's going to end with his death, but that's just me. If there's anybody who's going to have a solidified death aside from the rest of the Asgardian cast, I
Think
think
it's
it's
Tony?
probably, but we'll see. You know, I mean, there's always a
Maybe.
question mark.
You never know. You never know. Maybe Pepper will marry Happy. Take that, world.
That happened in the comic.
Yeah, it did once. Ha ha ha. Yeah, because it did. Anyway, I find it unlikely, but yeah, like, culmination of the wedding seems to be the most likely place, only because up until this point, the biggest piece being Homecoming, whenever Happy, like, yeah, I've had this ring for like 5 years, or 10 years, or whatever he says, and then he gives it to him right before they go to the press conference that was supposed to announce the new Avenger, and then instead announce something else we didn't see, and then the next time we're talking to him, they're talking about a possible wedding, and everything he says to everybody he meets new, you're not invited to my wedding. But Wong, you are, because you're nice. Screw that other Sherlock guy. Which is, I don't know, if we get that, I think that'd be kind of neat. But storyline-wise, to write him out entirely, you have to kill him. That's the only way you can write him out entirely.
It would make sense as a good end for his arc. I just don't think that's the way they're going to go. We'll see.
There's a DC universe that end with death, for sure.
Yeah, but that's because they hate comic characters.
No, I don't think that's the
They don't
case. They just
understand
don't like
comic
happiness.
books. They don't like happiness. They don't understand comics. The movies.
Then we'd also get Michelle, Ironheart, Jacqueline,
Riri?
and she'll replace him. No, can't have any names that make sense.
Oh,
Her
right.
middle name will be
The-
Ironheart
yeah,
for
that's
no
right.
reason at all. We'll wait until the end of the movie to reveal it.
As long as it's Jean-Claude Van Damme that does it, I'm fine with it. As long as he's the one that reveals, you are Ironheart, then great, but in his French-Swedish weird accent.
Well, we could get somebody in there. Unfortunately, the perfect guy for Jean-Claude would have been Whiplash. And that's done.
No, he won't be casting anybody but Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, he'll just be Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude Van Damme tells her she's the Ironheart. It's because the Ironheart movie, Rob.
And she'll be like, oh, literally, that's my middle name.
Stupid.
That's if it was DC.
Oh
It's
my
not
gosh.
DC.
That's
He
stupid.
doesn't show up before the before any scene.
No,
and any after.
absolutely not.
He's just like walking on the set. You know, eating
Not
an
on the
apple
set,
or
but, like, he's
something like
hanging
that.
out.
Is just, oh, yours the Ironheart.
You have
I mean, I guess they
Ironheart.
could be entering her to underground fighting arena, but I mean, that'd be too on the nose, right?
And then everybody just looks as he walks off the set, and they go, was that Jean-Claude?
Was that just Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Who let him in here?
What?
He's like, he gets in anywhere.
I think it's that
I
wrestler
don't know.
guy.
It was weird.
Right. Stupid. Okay, I think that's enough about the movie. Rob, if you're going to score the movie on a scale of 5 like we do for comic books, what would you score for the movie?
You know what? It's tough. I would actually I'd give it a 5. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, even though they took cues from the Gauntlet story. They made it really their own. The direction for it I thought was really well. They use all the pieces very well. They make Thanos matter. And in the end of that story, you're left generally blown away. And even the little Easter eggs were pretty nice at the end. So it's as close to like a perfect film, I think, as you can get for the Avengers stuff. So I'd have to give it a 5.
Okay. Craig.
Been struggling with giving it a score of what all. I like the movie. I like it a lot. It is just so ADD with so much going on. There's always like 8 groups of
Bang for your buck, Craig.
there's like 8 groups of heroes going on. And
Yeah.
for a while there, it's hard to see piece together how everything is fitting together, because this group is all off in left field doing something, and this group is off doing something in right field, and there's all this stuff going on in the middle. It's got a good humor, though, all through the thing, you know, to liven things up when it needs to be livened up. Got great action scenes and great fight scenes. The fight scene on Titan with just Spider-Man and teleporting all over the place with Strange's help and whatnot is spectacular. Maybe the one of the best fight scenes I've seen in years. I'll give it a 4.5. It's not a movie that you can see once and pick up everything, I don't think.
I'd give you that. I mean, There's a lot of stuff that happens
And
in there.
and I think it holds up fine as its own separate thing, but at the end of the movie, you go into it and you know there's going to be a second movie to resolve all this stuff.
Sure. Oh yeah, you know there's a continuation. All right. Score-wise, yeah, I'd give it a 4.5 also. Like, it's really, really good. Like, movie-wise, it's fun to watch. It's got good, like you said, good humor. Everybody gets to highlight at least a little bit, character-wise. There's not anybody that shines super hard over everybody else. So I thought that was really neat. Their pacing, I think, is pretty good. I didn't have any problem with the multiple locations and multiple groups, but I think I like more chaos anyway, so that's probably why. As far as the things, movie-wise, I think they did a really good job. And I'm pretty impressed with pretty much how everything works. I mean, the only thing I didn't get that I wanted was scrolls, and I think that's still coming, so whatever.
Second movie, Steve.
That's very possible. And have you seen the poster from Captain Marvel? There's a scroll on the poster. I'm just saying. Hawkeye's a scroll. Hashtag Hawkeye's a scroll. They say that's not how it works, Steve. When you say it, you have to type it. I'm like, oh, yeah, no.
No,
Maybe?
actually, that is exactly how it works.
I know it is. It was a joke. Anyway, so Rob, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Steve's still hung up on Trash Panda.
That is true. It's the funniest thing ever.
It is.
It's so funny. Craig, what'd you learn today?
I learned that Rocket Raccoon is the movie verse Black Jack Rabbit.
That's true. Rob, what'd I learn today?
You learn that it's probably way more fan fiction-y for Loki to be somehow surviving inside of Hulk than anything else. And that evidently you really hung up on the ED joke. Like, why wasn't this in the movie?
Because it was simple writing. Come on, people. Simple writing, that's what makes me mad. Simple writing that's lost.
What about the other thing I learned today? That two Sherlocks apparently cancel each other out, and nobody can mention it.
See, that is way better than the first one.
I still like Black Jack Rabbit though.
That's right. You're a work in progress, Craig. The second one was better.
You know what the thing that a lot of fans get hung up on, and I don't know why people are so like connected to this. All right, so in the Infinity War or Infinity Gauntlet comic, it's Silver Surfer that smashes through the roof instead of the Hulk. And people are like losing their mind. Oh, they replaced the Surfer with Hulk. Like, it doesn't matter, guys. It's fine. Get over it. It's gonna happen. It's cool. Whatever.
What about replacing the X-Men and the Fantastic Four with the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Nobody cares about that.
Oh, right. Take that.
Well, I'm still hoping that they'll have a Fantastic Four reveal in the next movie then.
Be cool. I doubt it.
I guess we'll see if paperwork's been done or not.
Well, or whether
I guess they got them back.
Well, at this point they haven't. The Fox merger thing apparently hasn't been approved yet.
Oh, I thought they had already gotten the four.
I thought they got them back because they lapsed on the movie deal.
Oh, they might have. Oh, they did actually. That's true.
Yeah, I thought they got them back about the same time they got Punisher back.
No, separate from Punisher. That's why they put that movie out in the first place. Punisher and Daredevil all lapsed at the same time. Which is why we got Daredevil first and Punisher second, simply because of cost problem. They didn't have their cast for it. But yeah, the Daredevil one reverted, Punisher reverted. They made a Fantastic Four movie and tried to force Marvel to buy it. Marvel didn't buy it. They put it out themselves, and that was not a good idea. Yeah. And then you fast forward 7 years to now, and yeah, I do remember hearing about that. That's why we're getting a new Fantastic Four comic.
Well, I thought that's why we're getting the Skrulls, too. Because the Skrulls were tied up in that, too.
Very possible.
But, I mean, the big thing is you gotta wait for that stink to cool down. Because otherwise, people are going to try to link the Fantastic Four movies, and that's just not going to work.
That's true.
Yeah, well, you do a good Thing suit, because Thing is your face. Weirdly enough.
For being the ugly guy, he kind of is.
So you do a good suit for that. You introduce them showing up in, your Avengers or one of your good movies or whatever. Like, Fantastic Four. Yeah.
Well, I have no doubt that it can work. You just have to make a good movie.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll see.
In one of the teasers or whatever, they end the movie with them getting into some sort of crazy trouble, and you just hear orange fists hitting each other. It's clobbering time.
That'd be kind of a cool ending. I would be more along the lines of in Captain Marvel, we have a group of scientists get lost in space, cosmic radiation style.
There you go.
But, that's just me.
Of course, after all the heroes come back.
Right.
Now,
well, I'd say in Captain Marvel, that way it's been predecessed, but you don't actually have them return until after the end of Infinity. So the ship returns back after the end of Infinity Gauntlet, or Infinity War, or Infinity, whatever the next movie's called.
Crusade.
Could be.
War, Gauntlet.
Whatever.
Infinity.
Whatever the part 2 is.
Infinity Rebirth.
Infinity Rebirth, there you go. All right.
Infinity Heroes Reborn.
That's enough of that. You have to have the 4 around to make that happen. And Professor X, so good luck with that.
You want popular titles.
Oh,
if you're going to steal a title, you want to have a popular
title. He's right.
Although,
popular.
I guess Age of Ultron, it's debatable.
Yeah, well, it was good when it came out. It's a little broken, but, whatever. People read it.
Infinity Inferno.
That's also another X-Men one, but Inferno was a good one, so that's true. Okay, I think that's it, Rob.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Tiki.
Walking on.
How many